Hello, thank you for clicking on this video. I'm so grateful that you decided to join me today as I discuss the idea of being aware of your attitudes. So what state are you embodying? Because you were told to change your mind or change your state in order to change your world. We were also taught that, as long as you could embody the feeling state of the wish fulfilled and know that it is done and have faith, then that's eventually will come to you. That will be your life experience. What you desire desires you. Just know that and trust that that is the truth. And check in with yourself. What am I entertaining? What thoughts am I allowing to ruminate or embody? Earlier this week, it was Monday, and I had a unpleasant experience, you could say. And I allowed it to ruminate and affect me, right? I was moved by the external circumstances when we were told to not be moved because it all is from within and it's just reflecting back to you. So I had an unpleasant morning, and that feeling of anger, I guess you could say, or disappointed or feeling hurt lingered for way too long. And I was like, okay, Todd, you need to change your state, change your mind in order to change your world. And, I became aware that my attitudes were unpleasant, not lovely, and of good rapport. And so I wanted to discuss things that you can do to get you out of a negative feeling state and to get back into the state that you wish to experience and embody, to draw in the life that you want to experience. And so a classic one is to get out and exercise, which in fact did work for me. I went to the gym, and it felt really good to kind of release those negative emotions and get those endorphins flowing, and listen to some music, get into flow, and do things for myself to release some stress. So listening to music, getting out in nature, going to exercise, which is what I had done, in order to get me back into that state. And then that afternoon ended up being great. And then it set the tone for the rest of the week. But another point that I do want to discuss on that is, if something shitty happens, right, that bothers you and that you don't find pleasant, there's no need to continue to relive it and tell people a story, right? Because you're just reinfecting yourself, you know? And so the following day, I felt the need to tell a close friend of mine kind of what had happened. And I realized, like, wow, like, I'm not feeling good right now. I'm not in the pleasant feeling state. So you just got to move on. You got to let it go. You got to drop it. It wasn't even that deep. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it pissed me off and I didn't like it. But you got to let it go, right? Just allow it. Okay, that's what happened. It's all good. What do I need to learn from this experience? And just move on. Because it's all within. Happiness is within. Love is within. It's nowhere else. And so, yeah, if it's something that, again, you experience, you don't need to tell the world, Todd. You don't got to tell all your friends. Why? You were just reinfecting yourself. And on that same token, those imaginal scenes, right, of events in the past that were either pleasant or unpleasant, but the ones that are unpleasant tend to sting, and so you could kind of relive those. And I got to tell myself to, like, just stop, just kind of don't identify with the thought, just move on, and don't ruminate on why that came back, or just allow it to let it go. And I don't need to, like, reinfect myself with that experience. So yeah, get back into that feeling state. And so you got to change your mind and change your world and be aware of the attitude, the predominant attitude that you have in the moment by moment, the eternal now. What is going on within you right now, Todd? Right now, life is good, as it always is. It's always good. And everything's working in your favor. Do not be moved by the external circumstance, because everything is found within. It's always been there. You know, the law of attraction states, you know, your predominant feeling state will bring in that experience, bring in more things that, you know, you could be grateful for. And then the law of assumption states, you know, whatever you assume to be true is so. And so assumed you are that person that you wish to become. And you will be inspired to take inspired action. You will be guided from that still small voice within to bring you to that desired end. But you have to have faith that it is already done, because it is, because creation is finished. And so just be aware of the attitude every day. Take stock. We're human. We're allowed to have bad moments, bad days, right? But coming back to center, coming back to source. So meditation really helps. Exercise helps. Going out in nature, listening to music, love it. And another thing too, another insight that just come up that I want to discuss is be aware of where your attention is, because, you know, as they say, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? We've all heard that saying. And so, Todd, you know, get off of Instagram. You're looking at these posts, you're not searching for it, but the algorithm is feeding you stories or reels or things that are divisive, that cause a reaction because it gets more clicks or whatever. And you could get caught up in that. And it's changing your feeling state. You go from a high vibe to a low frequency, not a vibe. It's not the vibe, dude. Get out of the comments. People talking smack about each other. People have differing opinions, and we're allowed to have different opinions. That's fine. You know, I can appreciate that, but things that appear on your feed are things that really get clicks and, you know, cause people to be hateful towards each other. And we want to embody love, because that's what we are at the core. All of us. The light in me sees the light in you. Always. You know, we're from the same source. That's a beautiful thing. Isn't it? Isn't it wonderful? So, what has your attention? Right? Be aware of that. So, when I need a boost, I go to the things that lift my spirit, lift my soul, bring me joy and happiness. It's not doom scrolling, getting dopamine or whatever, and reading terrible comments that people have about each other. You're just placing these conditions on other people. You're judging when you should just be still. Just be still. Don't judge people. Just control what you can control. Control your mindset, your attitude, your imagination. That's what has the most power. Don't give your power away to the algorithm on a social media platform that is working to divide us, really. And I'll find myself like being like, whoa, I don't feel good inside because these reels on Instagram are brutal and they're bringing me down. And then the comments are just so bad. And I want you to know that you are loved, you are enough, and you don't need to find it out there. So do the things that lift you up. I think I'm going to start focusing more on creating as opposed to consuming, like what I'm doing now. And I would encourage you to do the same. I know that obviously people would be consuming this content on this video. Oh, but I think being aware is the key. Aware or conscious consumption, being aware of what you're consuming and checking in with like, how is this making me feel? As opposed to just kind of on autopilot and consuming things that make you feel like shit and unpleasant. Not love, not good rapport. Be aware of your attitudes, because what has your attention has your life. Thank you for clicking on this video, and thanks for staying till the end if you did. I really appreciate you. If you enjoyed this video, please like, please like it. Oh, dude. And if you appreciate this type of content, please subscribe. Share with a friend who would appreciate this message. I really appreciate people leaving comments and asking questions. It could be ideas for topics that I have in future videos. So I love you, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.